Hello everyone, and today we're back with another review of a toy that actually came out on time in my area, and that is, I almost said Studio Series, Legacy Evolutions Core Class Grimlock. As you can see, he is a T-Rex, very chunky T-Rex at that. Sorry if I sound a little quiet, I just woke up like 15-20 minutes ago, so still a little tired in the process of waking up from that, but as you can see, he does have some nice blue paint right there, really nice gold paint on the neck, some in the stomach, that's more for robot mode, gold on the claws, some red on the back. That's pretty much it as far as paint goes. As far as articulation in this mode goes, really you just have ball joint at the hips, a hinge at the head, and then these joints, which are again more for transformation, and that's really it. So not much else to really say as far as that. He is core class, so of course there are going to be some sacrifices made to both modes, and the fact that he is also a combiner, and now there's going to be even more sacrifices. So with all that being said, let's get down to some size comparisons. Here he is next to core class Bomb Burst. As you can see, he's a little bit of size on him. You know, he's not like huge for a core class or anything like that, but he's a little bit larger than you'd expect him to be. Here he is next to Studio Series AG6 Cliff Jumper. And again, he's got a little bit of size to him. I would say he's less of a core class and more closer to what a scout class would be. Not quite a scout, he's kind of core plus in that kind of way. One thing I did forget to mention real quick, you can finagle him into the more scientifically accurate T-Rex pose, but he's so back heavy because his tail is so thick that you can't really get him to hold it for very long. Back to our size comparisons, our final size comparison. Here he is next to Raw Chicken Dinobot. And yeah, there's quite a big difference between these two. So, with size comparisons out of the way, let's go ahead and get down to transformation. So for transformation, first thing you're going to want to do is come here and pull this off completely. And we'll set that off to the side for now. Next, what you're going to want to do, you can couple places, but what I like to do is go ahead and just fold out the legs. Basically, they truly are just, here's the side, here's the hip joint, there's the knee joint, you just straighten it out. And then you can just go ahead and split them apart. And then we just take the hands and rotate them around. Dino head up and grab his T-Rex arms and just split them. And then all of this just accordions back, and you could take the combination joint and fold that back with it. And there you go. There is core class Grimlock in his robot mode. And in robot mode, he actually looks pretty good, all things considered, especially for the core class size. You know, we all saw what what Sludge looked like, and we all were a little bit worried after that. But luckily, Grimlock doesn't look too bad. As far as articulation goes, head is on a swivel. You can get a full 360 degrees there. Arms are ball jointed at the shoulder. You can kind of get a full 360. He does start bumping into things, but you can move it around, and now you have full 360. No elbow joint. Wrists kind of has a joint. That's more for transformation, but it still technically counts. He can kick out really far, can kick back pretty far, and can do a full split. And I don't know if these necessarily count, but these are also on ball joints. So yeah, fairly standard articulation. He does come with an accessory. As you saw, he pulled off his tail. That is his weapon, just a 3mm port there. Goes into either of his hands. And there you go. Can't really pose all that well with it because no elbow joints, but you can get a basic, like, you can get a pretty basic pose out of it. Now back to some size comparisons. Get them straightened out here. Here he is next to Cliffjumper. And this is probably where you can really see what I meant by I said he's more like a core plus size instead of just a core class size, because he's like just a head shorter than Cliffjumper is. And to further prove that point, here he is next to Bomb Burst. If he'll stand up straight, we'll go ahead and get him. Wow, nothing wants to stand up right now. Alright, let's get Cliffjumper out of here. Alright, you two, play nice. And yeah, here you can see he's definitely taller than your average core class figure. So, get down to our final size comparison in Raw Chicken Dinobot. And yeah, I more or less picked this guy here just because I have my 86 Dinobots in a travel bag right now, and none of the other core class Dinobots have been released in my area yet. So that's really the only reason he's here. But with all that being said, I'm going to get him back into Dino mode, and then we will look at combined mode. And Dino mode is pretty easy. It's just, you gotta fold all this back, tab these two sections together, and they just sit there. Take the legs, tab those together, fold them up at both the hip joint and the knee joint, and then this little section here, oh, hang on, you want to take the combination joint and push that forward so that it's up, and that these can sit in this little groove right here. And then just take the dino legs, bring them down, rotate them to where the claws are at the front. And here is where we can really get started as far as the combination mode, or combined mode. You want to take the gun and you want to put these two 5mm pegs into these two slots with the 3mm peg facing down. Like so. And then you want to take the dino legs, you want to fold it to where basically they're in their robot mode configuration, and swing them forward on these two gray joints here. You can kind of use those as butterfly joints in the robot mode, but I don't think they look all that well when you do. When you bring them forward, there's two tab connectors, one on this arm, one on this arm, and those will go into the coinciding slots on the other arm. And then there's a slot right here and a peg and a tab right here on the dino legs. You'll just bring that down and tap that in. Then split the arm, the dino's chest, bring the head up and push it down. And there's no tab for this. It just kind of sits there. There are different ways you can configure it since these are just on ball joints, There's multiple ways you could do it, but the instructions just have you kind of doing it where those go down and then these sections kind of just sit flush on top like so. And there is our Grimlock in his combined mode. And it is a block that No real other way of putting it. He's just a brick with some dino mode parts on him. Um, he he's the only leg we have so far. We don't know what Snarl will look like. We haven't had him revealed yet. We know Swoop and what? It's not Scorn. It's something else. But we know they will be the arms, and then of course Slug and Sludge make up the torso. Um, you can definitely tell they were stretching to make this guy a leg, and you can definitely tell this is not meant to be um, what's it, Volcanicus. You can tell this is definitely meant to be Dino King. So yeah, like I was saying, you could definitely tell that these guys were kind of meant as like a litmus test. So they were going to be like, okay, so we're going to make a Dino King, but we don't know how well that's going to sell. So what we're going to do first is make the Volcanicus out of the original Dinobots. You know, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I just wish they were engineered slightly better, you know. I wish Grimlock had working elbows, but that would, in the end, compromise things. So, not much I can really truly complain about. I do wish these were just, well, I don't know if you could make those hinges. That's a very small area. So basically, they did the best they could with the size class they were given. I just wish the size class they were given was probably a larger one. Deluxes probably would have been great, but then it probably would have, strained as far as, price and everything like that. But before I get too far onto a ramble, that has been my review of Core Class Grimlock from Legacy Evolutions. And with all that being said, I will see you some other time.